Hey everyone, it's been a while. So this video is going to be a little bit odd, but visually wise I'm just throwing up a lot of little clips that I have of snakes, dogs, etc that I found on my phone, but audibly I'm just going to do a little update on firstly why I have been uploading absolutely nothing, and secondly there's going to be a few little changes to the channel for future. Now, I'm going to summarise them all at first because I know people aren't particularly interested in watching a very long video where someone's just talking and talking and talking. So I'll summarise now, so if you're not interested, you only have to make it to the 1 minute mark before deciding to stop. So a really quick summary would be that firstly, I no longer have any reptiles. I unfortunately have had to rehome everything, and I've had to sell every piece of equipment, tank, incubator, heat mat, everything that I own. Second thing is, I no longer live in my house anymore. I am now living in my parents' living room, which is a great time, as I'm sure you can imagine. Thirdly, I still have Beauty and Pickle, so they're still with me, so I have 2 pets. And is there anything else going on? Well, just in general, that is the reason why there's been no uploads whatsoever. So, that's that. Not interested, click off, all good. You won't miss out on anything much important. So, I was living in my own apartment, and I was living in Waterford, Ireland, just in case someone doesn't know, doesn't get from the accent, Ireland. And basically, my landlord decided to sell. So, for anyone who isn't aware, but unfortunately every Irish person is aware, we're having a little bit of a housing crisis. And as a result, we have no houses. And any houses that are around, if they're a landlord and if it's rent, the rent is going up. So I had a 2 bedroom apartment by myself, happy out, 800 a month, fantastic. Obviously bills and stuff on top of it. That was entirely doable for me on my own. And during school times, I would get a student in for the other room, we'd split it, and it was easy to do. It was completely grand. Unfortunately, this year, I was unable to find a student by the time my landlord said that he was thinking of selling. Obviously, I didn't want to bring in a student then because they would have had to only have, say, half a year in an accommodation and then find something else. That wouldn't have been fair on them. And he was wanting to sell. The next cheapest place I could find would be a 1,300 on my own single 1 bedroom apartment that I wouldn't be able to share with anyone. Not doable for me with the hours I was working and the pay I was getting. So, unfortunately, I had to move. I've had to move back to my parents' house, which is not a very big house, and I've had to bring basically nothing. I have sold, given away to charity, binned, etc., as much of my items as I can, and I'm living off very little. But sure, look, I'm not a very materialistic person. It's fine. I'm clothed. As long as I'm clothed enough to be legally allowed in public, I think it's fine. So, unfortunately, I was moving back to my mother's house into the sitting room. So, sitting room, living room, whatever you want to call it. And there is no space here. So, the room has got like some exercise equipment belonging to the family and a cabinet with like stuff in it that can't be moved and so forth. There is not space for snake tanks. So, I wasn't going to be able to bring the snakes. I looked around the place. I'm not an overly social person. I've got like 2 or 3 close friends and that's it. None of them are going to have space, and I wouldn't want to put it on them to ask them to take in what I had. So at the time I had 6 snakes, and they were all in like 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot enclosures each, and no one was going to have space for all of that, let alone, like, they wouldn't have had space for one of them, to be honest with you, let alone all 6. So unfortunately, I've had to rehome to people that I know in the trade, or that I've sold to before and so on and so forth, or I've traded with or gotten equipment off, stuff like that. And I've had to like sell on the equipment that I had to whoever would take it. I ended up giving a load of it away for free because I had such a small amount of time to get rid of everything. And as a result, I have no reptiles left. So I would very much like to get back into them at some point, but right now, with the way rent is looking, and obviously because I left the house, I no longer have a job because I don't drive. I should get around to it at some point, but yeah, I can't drive, so I wasn't able to travel up and down each day to do that. So I don't have a job either, so we're just kind of existing right now, but we'll see what happens. It'll be grand. Um, so yeah, at some point I'll get back into having reptiles again, but this means that unfortunately the channel, which I decided very intelligently to name Rachel's Reptiles, no longer has any reptiles. As a result of that, most of my videos from now on are going to be about the dogs or just random stuff I'm doing in future. So I can confidently say that I will have reptiles in future. And I do have random snippets of video here and there that I will be uploading now that I have time, because, you know, no work means lots of time, to actually make up videos that, like, I took. I don't know, I've got so many snippets on my phone of like snakes shedding and stuff, but I've never done a video properly on why do snakes shed. And so like that, you know, just little things like that. But as a result, like I will be putting up some more reptile videos, and I can easily do information stuff, but it'll get to a point where none of the footage is going to be of my animals, and none of the footage or pictures is going to be stuff that I've experienced personally. It'll be all stuff that's taken from stock or taken from people with permissions, that kind of thing. So I know a lot of people prefer to have like the more personal touch of like, hey, here is a snake physically in my hands. This is how you do this thing with this snake. Whereas with me, it won't be that. So this is partially me saying why it's going to end up like that, but also partially, I don't know, a warning. If you want out, now's the time. Unfortunately, I like doing the channel stuff, but I know I'm not some, I don't know, billion sub YouTuber person, so it doesn't matter overall, really. But it's just, I don't know. It's unfortunate is what it is. But anyway, I'll still have I have the two dogs, and my mother's two dogs are around, so they'll be appearing and stuff here and there. And I will at some point get into the reptiles again. It's just it will not be for the next while because there is no space here. Like realistically, I think the closest thing I could get right now to anything would be like a jumping spider, and the family are not too fond of spiders, so I don't think that's gonna be allowed because unfortunately not my roof, not my rules. But yeah, so if you decide to stick around, if you decide that you're going to stay around with the channel, this is literally just a little bit of a heads up. You're going to get a lot of mixed material in the next while. Some of it's going to be stuff that I shot in Waterford. Some of it's going to be stuff that's now here in my parents' house. Some of it's going to be like half the video might be in the flat, which has got the green carpets. That's how you'll know. The green or red carpet. That's what was in the flat. You'll know that's the flat, whereas wood and tile would be my mother's house. So that's the main difference, really. You'll see just part of it will be like maybe Pickle will look younger or whatever. Beauty always looks the exact same. She's just of the age that she looks the same the whole time. But Pickle might look younger or older, or like there might be a random video where I'm like, oh yeah, this is my snake, and I might be talking about them in the present tense. I do not have them anymore. They're all in good homes. They're all doing fantastically. I've gotten updates on a good few of them, so on and so forth. But like, I do not have them as of right now. So just so people are aware that they're not here anymore, really. So yeah, it's all very sad, but I've had time to kind of adjust per se, but it's unfortunate nonetheless. So yeah, just videos are going to be a little bit odd. They're going to be kind of around the place, and they're definitely going to be far more like dog and other random animal related. Purely because I don't have any reptiles to show you. So yeah, that's all. I just figured I'd do a little update thing, try to keep it short-ish. We're past the 8-minute mark, I'm sorry. 8.5 minutes. Oh no. So yeah, that's all. It's just a few changes. But sure, look. What can you do? Nought you can do. If you decide to stick around, then you'll see what happens. If you don't, I don't blame you in the slightest. Go for it. Snake Discovery has all the things. Go for it. Enjoy. But yeah, that's all. If you've any questions, go for it. I'm bored at the moment. I've nought to do. So, yeah, that's it. Adios.